So yes, my name is Brendan Witcher. I am an analyst at Forrester. I'm not going to ask if any of you know who Forrester is. I'm not going to take any time to tell you what Forrester is. If you don't know what it is, Google it. It's pretty easy. It's a research firm. It's pretty straightforward. Okay, so what I'm going to do though is talk to you about this research that I've done every year for the past 4 years, is to talk about what investments organizations are making, what imperatives matter. So one of the things that I do as an analyst, because I'm not a journalist, I don't get to just write about whatever I want. I actually have to listen to the market and say, what are people investing in? What do people care about today? Now, why is this important? It's important because of where I used to sit. I used to sit in the chairs that you guys are sitting in right now, not you, but you. I used to sit in that chair. I would probably sit right there, okay? Because I used to be in retail. So I used to be a strategist for Guitar Center. Does anybody know Guitar Center? Okay, so yeah, right? Yeah. When people react like that, I know you've probably bought something from Guitar Center. Yes, he's like, yes. There you go. Yep, okay. So I was head of strategy for Guitar Center. Before that, I was head of marketing for a company called Harry & David. Anybody know Harry & David? Yeah? I don't get as much reaction usually. It's like, woo, pears, right? No, people don't care about pears. But I sat in these chairs and I used to be at these conferences and I'd listen to what was going on. And unfortunately, a lot of times I didn't get a lot of the speakers sort of helping me understand how do I need to think about this differently, right? More of, here's this futuristic view. And I'd be like, oh, I got to go back to my office and do all these things. Now, fortunately, all the sessions we've had here so far have been very, very good at like bringing it down to like, what can I go back to my office and execute and look at and think about? I'm going to take it up a level, which is unusual for a conference, but I'm going to take it back up to 40,000 feet. Okay, we've been down in a lot of things, a lot of great information, but I got to bring it back up. Why is that important? Because we've been talking about product strategy. We've been talking about pricing strategies. We've been talking about technologies and all that kind of stuff. But none of this lives in a bubble, right? All these have to roll up to our top line initiatives. And so what I'm going to do is kind of tie these things together. But to do that, I got to do a really quick exercise with you guys because I think it's going to help you really understand what I'm talking about here today. All right, I know I'm in the toughest slot, and you guys are already probably coming down from a sugar high on the cookies, but I'm going to try some here without putting you to sleep, okay? I need you to close your eyes. Everybody close your eyes for me, okay? I want you to imagine it's this coming weekend. And you have to buy an entire week's worth of groceries because you're out of groceries. Or if you don't buy a lot of groceries, you have a dinner party, buy a lot of groceries for that dinner party. So you go to your local grocery store, you walk in the door. I want you to imagine in the grocery store. You walk in the door, you look around, and you notice there are none of these. Open your eyes. Everybody still remember what those are, three-dimensional shopping carts? Okay. There are none of these. And I don't mean they're all being used. I mean there are literally no shopping carts. There are no little carry bags, there's nothing. So you walk up to the manager and you say, hey, what happened to those shopping carts? The manager looks you straight in the eye and says, we couldn't figure out the ROI of a shopping cart, so we got rid of them. That sounds familiar, doesn't it? Can't figure out the ROI of something. You know, they're hard to maintain, they're hard to manage, they always got that left wheel that pulls you into the aisle, right? So we got rid of them. How do you feel as a consumer? How do you feel? How do you feel? Annoyed, that's a good one. I'm going to go home and shop online. I'm going to ask you when going to a store. How much can I carry by hand? How do you feel, though? Not good, right? Right? Now, how many of you would continue shopping with a grocer in a store that didn't carry shopping carts? None of you. Only this person, but she doesn't count. She told me yesterday she's never gone to a store in the last 10 years. She's lying. I'm going to send a private investigator after her to follow her. Next time she's going to be like, ah! She says she only uses the drive-thru. I even tried to catch her on that one. So let me ask you a question. All of you have abandoned this. And I've done this presentation now a few times to the point where I've shown this to 40,000 people. No kidding. Last year I showed this to 40,000 people at audiences all over the globe. Not once did anyone raise their hands except for her and about 13 people at a grocery conference because I didn't think that one through. But the important thing to remember is that this grocer, let me remind you something, has every product you need. Every product. And yet you're willing to leave them. Do you know why? Because we are digitally savvy. We know we have choice. We know we can get anything we need anywhere. Who am I going to pick on today? I'm going to pick on you, because you haven't talked at all. Pick on you. What's your name? Ben. Hi, Ben. I was sitting next to you the whole time. We didn't even talk. Ben, you have a blue shirt on, yeah? It's a nice button-down blue shirt. But if you spilled some of that coffee sitting right in front of you on that blue shirt, how many places can you buy a button-down blue shirt? Ooh, 100. 100. Let's go over to this side of the table. Let's go over to these people over here. You, sir. Raj. Raj, do you drink coffee? Yes, sir. Of course you do. Everybody in this room does. Do you have a coffee maker at home? If that coffee maker broke, how many places can you buy a coffee maker? Thousands. Wait, hundreds and thousands. That's today's consumer's mindset. I can buy things at 100 places, 1,000 places. It doesn't matter if you're coffee, diapers, batteries, dog food. Doesn't matter. Cars, insurance policies, 5 to 29 college savings plans. I have choice, which is why so easily we say, I'm out of here. Now let me show you one other thing. How many things did this grocer screw up on and you're willing to walk away? Count them up. One thing, and you all left this grocer? One thing, and you left this company that you're comfortable shopping with. That's today's consumer. That's who they are. That's why it feels so hard, because that's their mindset. If you can't service me, if you can't give me the experience that I want, I will find someone else who carries a similar product to yours. And if you think your product's that unique, I guarantee it's not. Guaranteed. No matter what your product teams say, your products are not that unique. Okay? I can buy a luxury handbag at a lot of places. I can buy a car a lot of places, even electric cars these days, at a lot of places. So what is the value of a shopping cart, or what is the value of getting that experience right? As I've just shown you, it's everything. Look, there is a reason that Amazon stopped saying everything on planet Earth. You know why? Because it's not a competitive advantage. You are competing against the entire internet. You are competing against everybody who offers products similar to yours. Not one competitor. Everybody. At Guitar Center, we carried, Home Depot mentioned they had 60,000 SKUs. Guitar Center, we had 120,000 SKUs. Well, that's not a lot, but we thought we were, we thought it was the bee's knees. The problem is we were competing against everybody. Everybody, and their assortment was bigger than ours. This leads to this state of hyper-adoption and hyper-abandon. How many of you have Netflix accounts? Yeah, all of you, okay. And do any of you still go into that last Blockbuster store that's like somewhere in Arizona? No, you don't. How many of you use Uber on a regular basis? Yep. And then I'm sure a lot of you still don't want to use taxis because of that, right? How many of you have Facebook accounts? Yeah, come on, yeah, you do. And have you lately updated that MySpace account? No. These are all examples, and I use different industries on purpose. Social media, auto rides, shopping, media, or for video. These are all different industries. And so we do this in every part of our lives. And each time a consumer is exposed to an improved digital experience, their expectations for all experiences are reset to a new higher level. You know what word is missing from here that's so important and so many companies focus a lot on that they shouldn't? The word competitor. Notice I didn't say every time the consumer is exposed to an improved shopping experience at your competitor. It's because it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter, and I'll prove it. Once again, I'll prove it by example. Because you're so busy this weekend, you also had to do, aside from grocery shopping, you also had to go to your bank and do some work there. So you went in, you went to your account, you could find what you needed, you could ask a question with a virtual agent, all good. Then you close that down, and you went to your insurance website. Couldn't find the information you needed, so you had to call someone to get an answer. Are you instantly disappointed? Yes. Did it have anything to do with comparing them to an insurance company? No. You compared them to your last digital experience. That's why it feels so hard today. That's what we're chasing. People tell me all the time, Brennan, we're so behind. I hear it constantly. And when I put on my own hat, my Dr. Phil hat, and I psychoanalyze them, I say, you're not behind your competitors, you're behind your customers' expectations. That's true. And that's why it feels so hard today. And here's the bad news. The bad news is that Forrester doesn't have a silver bullet. Never will, and I'm going to show you why. See this data stat here? Now, this is not terribly interesting. You probably could have guessed this number. 61% say I'm unlikely to return to websites that not provide a satisfactory customer experience. Anybody want to share with me the most dangerous word on this slide? See, I knew this was a smart group. Nobody, big 2,000 person audience, they don't know what I'm talking about. Satisfactory. And why? Because it's subjective. It is subjective. For you, you need same-day delivery. You need buy online, pick up in store. You need to use comparison charts. You want to shop during video. You want to, who knows what you want to do. You want to do something. You want to talk to your local store associate through an app. You want to, I don't know, do endless aisle, right? You want to go in a store and then have it shipped to your home. You want to use ship to store, right? I'm just using retail because we all do retail shopping. It's an easy thing to understand. For each of us, we have our own shopping cart things. There is no one thing that wins everybody. Here's an example. I am an analyst. If I need to buy a pen or this marker, I would need a comparison chart. Because this is how I shop. I don't care how much it costs. I need comparison charts. This is how I work, right? And I will come to your website 12 times, look at pens before I buy it, okay? My wife, and I know this because I see our credit card bills, will buy anything you show her if it has a $5 off coupon attached to it. Honey, really, we need the ShamWow? Yes, it was $5 off, okay. But if you look at our, you mentioned it, if you look at our traditional characteristics, we're about the same age, we're the same ethnicity, we live in the same zip code, we buy the same things. Traditional metrics, aside from gender, would say we're exactly alike, but we are not alike. And that's why there is no one thing you can do. You have to understand that individual and able to give them that shopping cart moment that they're looking for. And it's this misalignment of us not being able to deliver those shopping cart moments to customers. This is why we are struggling. Period. This isn't that hard to understand. This is actually what is happening today and why it's so challenging. And most organizations don't recognize this. They still try to win customers by telling them they carry bedding. We know you have bedding. You've been carrying bedding for 30 years. I don't need a commercial saying you carry bedding. I got it, right? But why would I shop with you? Now, a lot of companies said, to address this, we need to become customer obsessed. Blah, blah, blah. Customer obsessed. Everybody talks about customer obsessed now. I don't even say it anymore. It's like saying you need mobile strategy. Of course you do, okay? But the problem is that since 2014, we haven't defined customer obsession very well. So what people say to me when they talk about customer obsession is, well, we want to do this for the customer. We want to do that. We want to retarget the customer around the web. We want to show them products that we want them to buy. We want is a very different statement than our customers want. And it's amazing how many times I tell a company that after saying this thing to me over and over again. I say, well, you're saying we want, but not what your customers want. Well, we know what the customer wants. Well, how do you know? Because I've been doing this for 30 years. I haven't been doing this for 30 years. I've been doing it for 15. All but 3 of that is worthless because the customer has changed so much in the last 3 years, the old rules don't apply. The old rules just don't apply. The things that worked 10 years ago are not going to work today because the customer's expectations are constantly rising and constantly changing. What do you need? You need data. As W. Edward Deming once said, without data, you're just another person with an opinion. Now, I want you to think for a minute about how many parts of your business are being run by opinions. Let me make it a statement. Your business is being run by opinions. Now, I have an MBA. I don't remember that class. Run Your Business by Opinions 101. Anybody take that class? I didn't take it. Was that in any of your books? Was that even a chapter in one of your books? No. In business school? No, it wasn't. So what do we need to be? We need to be data-led as organizations. We need to be customer-obsessed through data-led. This is the full strategy statement. Now, I say data-led. You may say, well, I've heard data-driven. Here's data-driven, okay? And this is a maturity curve that we use, data-verse, data-aware, data-driven. Now, here's what data-driven is. I'll give you through example. My CMO came to me at Guitar Center one day and said, hey, Brendan, I was just sitting in the executive room with all the executives and the board directors, and I've convinced them that our customers, our musician customers, want to be part of a community. They want to talk about their music. They want to talk about their musical instruments. Dramatic pause. So go find me data to prove that. So I did. I proved that people want to be part of communities. People love talking about their music. Not on our website, but I proved it was right. You know, that same year, I proved that e-commerce was more important than stores. And a few months later, I proved that stores are more important than e-commerce. Using data, because I could do anything with data. If I could I just need to meet someone else's agenda. That's data-driven. Data-led is when you come without preconceived notions about the customer. You come without preconceived notions about your business, and you let data drive your strategy. And you know what? All these companies that we go to these conferences and we're so excited to hear about, you know what the common thread among them is? They're data-led. Even outside of retail, JetBlue, Marriott, Netflix, they're all data-led. They're all data-led organizations, every one of them. So as you're thinking about the investments I'm going to show you, I want you to think about how that's connected to your data strategies. Okay? I'm looking at my timer. Okay. Omni-channel is the #1 investment. Okay? Omni-channel sounds like a big, buzzy buzzword. Why is it omni-channel? And I get what you said earlier about omni-channel. It's true, you want to create seamless experiences for customers. I'll give you that. Totally true. But the challenge is that you still have to run your channels like channels. Okay? Your e-com expert is not going to become your store expert all of a sudden. Your store expert is not going to become your contact center expert all of a sudden, right? You still have to think about the channels internally. While I agree the customer experience should be more of a unified commerce type of experience, right? The way to address this is operationally, because the challenge is not so much the experiences, the challenge is your operations. Most often with people, processes, culture, things like that are getting in the way. Now, I just pulled this up just for the sake. I know people have shared this information, and I thank you for using Forrester data. Thank you. That was great. But here's an example of that, right? Omnichannel is already happening. 36% of people that shop in stores, for example, are going online before shopping in the store, even though the buy button is right there. Okay? People always say stores are dead. Stores are not dead. Stores will not die. We'll all be dead. Sorry. We'll all be dead before stores are dead. Okay? I promise you. Okay? Now, this is omni-channel. Okay? I say retailing even though this is omni-channel commerce. No matter what business you're in, these three apply to you. Engagement, product price, promotion, and view of the customer. Fulfillment is specific to retail. Okay? It can apply to B2B too in some cases. But this is why it's so hard. Companies today say, oh, omni-channel, it sounds easy. It's not easy, it's hard. But you know what else I also hear? The same, it's hard, but boy, it had a bigger impact on our business than we ever thought it would. The people who do it right, get it right, and see results. And that's why it's #1 on the list for this year. Neiman Marcus, for example, this is omni-channel engagement, because that's the question I get the most about. What does that look like? It looks like this. Being able to talk to my local store associate through my app, that's omni-channel engagement. Being able to take a picture of something and you find it for me in a local store, that's omni-channel engagement. These are fulfillment aspects, right? Being able to learn about the customer through the app so that I can talk to them in email about things they like and they don't like, that's omni-channel engagement, right? Being able to go in my store, use a magic mirror and try on a red dress, and later show it to my friends on the app, that's omni-channel engagement. That's omni-channel engagement. So many great examples in the world of how people are using omni-channel. #2 is personalization. We talked a lot about personalization. But personalization today is not what you think it is. Okay? When I say a lot, 89% of digital pros are prioritizing investments in personalizing the customer experience. That is a huge number. As someone who looks at numbers all day, that is a monster number. We don't see that about loyalty programs or chatbots or other things. 89%, 9 out of 10. Now that is so important because of what I showed you earlier about the high jump slide. As more customers get used to seeing personalization, they will start to expect personalization. It's going to become the standard, so that's why it's so important. Okay? Now, there are benefits to this. 71% of consumers have chosen, recommended, or paid more for a brand that provides a personalized service or experience. So there's bang for the buck. There's proof that this works. But a lot of people think personalization is product recommendations. It's not. That's what we said 20 years ago. Product recommendation companies, they monopolized that term personalization 20 years and got a hold of it and never let it go. But today, personalization is about the experience for me. What do I want? What do I need? What do you know about me? What do you know about me? I shop only on the weekends, strictly, okay? Because I'm so busy. I only shop on the weekends. Do you know how many people email me on Monday? That is a waste of time. In B2B, if you have a buyer that always buys on Wednesday, why are you emailing them on Thursday? Think about it. Think about your customer. You may not know this, but I have no fashion sense. None. I don't put shirt in my cart. I put shirt and pants. I usually buy whatever the model or mannequin is wearing. Literally, that's what I do. And if you watch my behavior, if I put a shirt in my cart, you would know to show me pants. Nothing else, because that's how I shop. You would also know that I use buy online, pick up in store all the time. You would also know that I buy a certain price point. You would also know that I'm willing to pay full price. Knowing all these things about me, you don't need to compare me to anybody else. You know enough about me to talk 6 months in a relevant way. In a relevant way. The more we understand each customer, the more relevant we can be, the better our engagements are going to be. There's so many companies that I know that have a great personalization strategy and zero data strategy. You know what their data strategy is? We start with the data we have. Boom, you're done. You're instantly dead because you probably only have gender, age, zip code, last product purchased, last service used. Okay? Remember, it's called a personalization engine for a reason. What goes into an engine? Gas. Now you can put low-grade gas in, like mud, and that's the data I just shared, or you can put high-grade gas in. Either way, I don't care if you have a Ferrari of an engine or a Volkswagen, mud is mud. And the quality of your personalization will not depend on your personalization tools, it will depend on your ability to understand your customer. And as we get to this state of individualization, and by the way, I'm not saying individualization takes the place of segmentation, that was stated correctly earlier by Elizabeth. I'm getting that right? Elizabeth, yes? Not everywhere will you do individualization. It's having a strategy of where can we do individualization? Where are the gaps in our data to not be able to do it? How do we get to this state? It's about climbing up the pyramid. And it's not, is the guy from Tractor Supply still here? Michael? I didn't see him anymore. Okay. They have that one tractor thing, the one what I was really hoping he'd say out loud. That wasn't a 3-week project. That's been a 5-year project, right? Think about, say, our goal is individualization. What does our timeline look like? Where can we do individualization then and then and then and then and have a roadmap to get there? Here's an example of great individualization. I don't know why all my examples are female-based. I really do not know that. True & Company. When I buy a bra from True & Company, if I were to buy a bra, and then I were to return it, True & Company goes through this whole process of asking me, why am I returning it? The fabric didn't feel good. The band was too tight. The underwear dug into the bottom, whatever, right? So now, why do they do that? Because what they do with this data is immediately, when you go to the website after returning that item, they suppress other items with similar characteristics to that bra because they are customer obsessed, not company obsessed. They do this even if those items are bestsellers. They do this even if those items are the highest margin items because they are truly customer obsessed. They know if somebody buys, they're a pure play, if somebody buys a bra from them twice, it doesn't feel good, they'll never get that customer back again. It's using data to deliver personalization. Notice I didn't say they made a recommendation, I said they suppressed items on the website that were not good for that customer anymore, so they wouldn't even buy them. Didn't even give them a chance. Advanced data and analytics. I wanted to share with you real quick some news I got today. I did a session at Shop Talk this year. It was called Using Data or Understanding Data for Brand Building or something like that, right? Number 2 best attended session at Shop Talk. That would not have happened 5 years ago, okay? It was the unsexy thing that nobody wanted to talk about. It is now the sexy thing. Analytics and data is the new sexy. Being able to get to that data is hard. Most companies we see or talk to don't use data, even if they have tons of it. And I would argue the data they use is probably that low-grade mud we talked about earlier. This is what a 360-degree view of the customer looks like now. It used to be that top left side of the screen, just that, okay? Now it's all these things, okay? So, what we have to focus on is more of what makes us us. As I said about me and my wife, right? What makes us us matters, particularly context. Context matters. I challenge all of you, go back to your offices, print out your database about your customer, don't look at the rows, look at your column headers, and ask yourself, what don't we know? Because if it isn't in your database, you don't have it and you can't use it. It is mind-blowing how much information you are just simply not collecting because you're not bothering to put it in your database. Your marketers have no choice but to use the data you give them. So it's your jobs to go back and make sure you are enabling them and suggesting to them how to do certain things. This happens in physical locations too. Even 14% of only 14% of associates have access to analytics and reporting to understand store performance, right? Such a challenge. If we got to put it everywhere to be able to be customer obsessed, to understand our business. Fabletics, great example of a company that literally designs customer journeys for the purpose of collecting data. Literally. At a Fabletics store, you go in and you have to scan the items you're going to bring into a dressing room and give them an email address. Now, they don't use that in the store. You know where they use it? In all the emails that go out to you afterwards. Do you know what their competitor does? Writes their name on a whiteboard. You ever try to get data out of a dry eraser? It's very hard to do, I promise you. Do you think they have a competitive advantage over their competitor? Yes, they do. They are far more relevant after that store visit than their competitor. And in fact, just a side note, Fabletics learned recently that their biggest competitor, their customers don't think they have better fashion. They just feel like Fabletics knows them better, and that's why they have loyalty from their customers. Okay? Number 4 is digital store transformation. If you have physical stores, think about operations. Think about how you're enabling those physical locations to add value. I had a bank tell me recently, we are closing down our stores because everyone's shopping in e-commerce. And I told them, you know what? I'm fine with you doing that. That's your strategy. That's good. But don't be fooled. People are not going in your stores because you failed to add value, not because they want to go to e-commerce. If you want to raise a white flag and say, we give up, we can't figure out how to make our store of value, then that's fine, but at least admit that you're doing it. It's not the customer behavior. I already showed you how many people still shop in stores. We love getting out of the house. We love talking to people when we feel like they can help us. We don't mind physical locations. What we have a problem with is them having no value. As I said, 86% of retail is still physical, and there's nothing we do more than shop in retail, okay? So people are reimagining the physical store. Kohler, with their experience centers. I actually took a shower in this store. No kidding, really did. Took a shower, tried all the things. I'm like, ooh, I like that one. That's nice. Pretty cool. Nordstrom, even a legacy company, is rethinking the physical environment, saying, hey, come try our brand. We won't have the products here. We'll ship them to you, but we want you to have an experience. We want you to have an experience. Sephora was brought up a few times in this, a great example of creating in-store experiences. I did this experience. You wouldn't know it, but I'm an autumn. The women had a good time with me. And you know what they did at the end of this? They said, would you like this information later? I said, sure, because I just took a half hour of my life to do this, right? Like, well, just give us an email address. Bam. Now I'm not an anonymous customer anymore, am I? Now I'm a beauty insider at Sephora, right? But they added value for me to say who I was, and now they know all this information about me. They have a data collection strategy. This looks like a personalization strategy. It is a data collection strategy. How many of you have a payments app for a coffee shop? Dunkin' Donuts, Starbucks? No, you have a data capturing machine. You do not have a payments app. That is a data capturing machine. That's what that is. And that's good strategy. Number 5 is AI. Okay, number 5 is AI. Now, companies today, there's 2 sides to AI. There's customer-facing AI. I'm going to talk to a robot. And there's AI on the back end. Business intelligence, analytics, labor management, warehousing, distribution. This side is where AI is ready today. It is not ready for customer-facing. You ever tried a chatbot? Go ahead, have fun. Okay? AI is not ready for the customer, but it is ready for customer insights. It is ready for our analytics tools. Okay? 81% of organizations today that are hesitant to invest in AI aren't sure how to do this, but they're thinking back-end operations. This is where we can do it. This is where we can add value to our organization today. We're trying to get to this state of prescriptive analytics. I know everyone talks about predictive. Here's what you could do. Put a bunch of variables in, run a model, here's what you could do. Prescriptive AI takes all the variables you can't even think of and tries to find you the right business outcome. This is what we're targeting today as analytics professionals.
So just a quick run through. I said I would give you this deck. I'm not going to go into all these. These are some of the things that people are testing and learning. Chatbots, subscription services, experience centers, automated checkout, same-day delivery, depending on what industry you're in. Okay? There are other things that are specific use cases that make sense. IoT, conversational commerce, progressive web apps, VR, AR, new marketplaces. I'm only putting on the slides so you can have them later. And just know they don't fall into the top 5 of the investments people are making. It is not time to put virtual reality in your stores if you're sending out 136 non-personalized emails, right? Because nobody's going to walk in your store and go, oh, there's no virtual reality, I'm out of here. Doesn't matter. It's not time for that yet. Know what matters to the customer today. Now, I would be remiss if I didn't say this, and I know I'm out of time. Don't look at me like that. Okay? If I didn't mention this very, very important point. That's what happens when you put me at the end of the day. I get unlimited time. I'm just kidding. Okay. To be customer obsessed and data led, you have to fix things that are non-technical elements. Your culture, your organization, and the right metrics to measure success. I've been doing this 6 years. I work with 8 of the top Fortune 10 companies. I work with 57 of the top 100. I've been working with them for years, and I promise you, you don't fix these things, you will be the same company next year. I don't care how much technology you buy. You will be the same company as you were this year, okay? 53% of organizations say they have problems with culture. 82% say organizational silos limit their ability to execute their digital strategy. You gotta fix those things. So here's what the roadmap looks like. Recommendations, okay? Not just for retailers, for all companies. Become data-led as an organization and use data as a competitive weapon. I've shown you multiple examples of how to collect data and use it in your organization. More importantly, how to think differently about a data strategy. What is the point? What is the purpose? Uncheck and reassess your tech boxes and get to work on optimizing the basics of delivering great customer experiences. You do not need robots. You do not need IoT or virtual reality. You need what your customers expect today. What are they looking for today? Similar to your tech roadmap, have a roadmap for fixing your organization and your culture. Write it down. Have a plan. Have a roadmap. Talk about it. Right? I see so many people in meetings like, yeah, we got to change. It's never going to happen. Write it down. I don't mean to sound like Tony Robbins. Write it down. Have goals, write them down, and operate off a roadmap. This is my favorite one. Invest in tech that solves your customer pain points. Okay? I see so many companies that come to me and say, we want to surprise and delight our customers. Okay. How many of you drive cars? You drive a car? Okay. I want you to imagine the last time you got out of your car. Did you stop your car, park your car, get out of your car, close the door, turn around and go, thank you, car. I love you so much, car. Thank you for getting me where I need to go. No. Why? Because we don't care. We don't care. We expect things to work. Okay? We are far more influenced by pain than by pleasure. I can prove it. What if that car broke down the last time you needed to be someplace important? Would you have some choice words for that car? Yes, you would. Would you remember that moment? Yes, you would. Every study on the planet tells you that pain points matter. Solve your customers' pain points. When I can't see what makeup looks like on my face before I buy it, that's a pain point. When I walk in your store and you don't have the right size for me, that's a pain point. Solve those. Don't surprise and delight me. Solve my pain points. Starbucks is an example. The payments app solves pain points. Why? Because the line's the pay point. Is the line the pay point at Macy's? No, so they don't need a payments app. Solve your customers' pain points. And finally, again, you don't need these fancy schmancy internet retailer magazine articles driven strategies. You need omni-channel, personalized, value-added experiences that add perceivable value to your customers and make them want to stay loyal to you because you're delivering those shopping cart moments that says, yeah, that worked for me. That's exactly what I needed. You added value. I can move on with my life. But thank you. I'll be back.